Alright, it is the 14th of December. It's very cold and we're heading to town. Look at you. It's so funny. We're heading to town to see Rogue One. I wasn't planning on filming a video, but last night I watched the video I made the night I went to see The Force Awakens, and it was so cool to look back on it. And while my hype for Rogue One is nowhere near as big as that, I thought I'd make a quick video as we're going, and then, you know, probably when we're walking home later on tonight. And this is the first time we'll be seeing a new Star Wars film with Connie. We didn't get to see The Force Awakens together. But
I got to see it with my brother, who was seeing it with today.
Yeah, we're seeing it with her brother tonight. And what's really funny, I didn't think about this, is that the only other Star Wars film we've seen in the cinema is Episode 1.
In
3D.
And I hate the evolution of cinema.
Yeah, where Connie just ranted about the 3D. But you kind of look similar because you had this big like scarf wrapped around you while you were doing the video, so it kind of reminiscent. Anyway, and that was 4 years ago. But yeah, Rogue One, I've kind of been a bit more excited than I thought I was going to be. The past couple of days it's kind of really dawning on me that we're going to see a new Star Wars film. But I haven't been anywhere near as excited about it. So I'm hoping I'm pleasantly surprised. A lot of people have seen it already, although we're seeing it before the UK, before America, on general release. For some reason it comes out in Scandinavia a day before almost everywhere else. But yeah, there's been very positive things said about it so far. So are you looking forward to it?
Yeah. Right now I'm looking more forward to pizza, but...
Oh yeah, we're gonna have pizza, which is good. But I'm looking forward to everything. Seeing Darth Vader, seeing how a film without Jedi in it is... Shut up. I'm looking forward to seeing a Star Wars film without Jedi in it, really. And the score that won't be done by John Williams. All sorts of interesting things. And yeah, so that's what we're doing, and I thought I'd record this today. Alright, we're back. We've seen the film. Spoilers galore. We're going to be talking about everything. I love the film. Just to jump right into it. And we just did our spoiler-free review, so we'll feel like we're treading through the same stuff, but we both really enjoyed it. But I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. I wasn't expecting to be as thrilled as I was. I mean, the trailers looked promising. It looked like a good action film, but there was always that thing like, is it really going to feel like Star Wars? And kind of in a way it doesn't, because it's new and shiny and everything, and it's, you know, it doesn't have... No film is ever going to have the feeling of those original three movies. It's never going to happen. But with The Force Awakens, with this film, Rogue One, they're creating this new kind of feeling and tone. And, you know, we'll just settle into it, and soon it'll just feel like Star Wars, you know. But it did have a lot of the things that, you know, made me fall in love with Star Wars. All the creatures, and it's just like random side characters that were done with puppets and stuff like that, which they did in The Force Awakens as well, and weird aliens and exotic locations, different planets, things like that. And we had different music from Michael Giacchino, which I was very intrigued. You know, how is that going to feel, a Star Wars film without music from John Williams? And I think it was a very good score. But with The Force Awakens, I remember coming out of that film for the first time and thinking, wow, the score wasn't that good. So, really? yeah, and now...
I love the score.
I love the score now. It's one of my favourite scores. So I think it'll probably grow on me, but at the same time, you're trying to process this new film that is not like a Star Wars film. It doesn't have Jedi in it. It's not about the Skywalkers, and so it was very... you know, just trying to take everything in. And also we were sat in the front row, which we never do, so it was actually honestly really hurting my head, because the screen was so big when you sat in the front row. It was kind of hard to focus on things when there's close-ups, and I'm really looking forward to watching this film again, sitting back a bit, because it was a bit hard to get used to for the first 10-15 minutes. And again, we just filmed a spoiler-free review, so I'm trying to, like, you know... You talk for a bit.
Right. Don't know if you have seen the spoiler-free review, but my first disappointment was that the Star Wars theme didn't play in the beginning with the scrolling text.
Yes.
Just
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, and I saw that, and it really got my hopes up. I was like, yes! But no, boom!
Yeah.
A sound effects, song, music theme.
Oh, I love the opening. I just remembered
the Saturn-looking planet.
Yeah, the rings around the planet, and the rings just stop because of the shadow of the planet, and then you see the ship coming over. Great imagery to open the film.
Yeah, and I actually leaned over to Lee. He was like, oh, that looks awesome. He's like, oh, sorry, is this a commentary?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, shut up then. So that was my first disappointment because they played the theme in the end credits.
Mm-hmm.
They also have Darth Vader's theme, which is, of course, that would be stupid if they didn't.
Well, it was a bit of a variation on it. It was like dun 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 dun, and then it went to something else. It was kind of like a.
It was very distinctive Darth Vader theme.
Yeah, but it was like a hybrid as well. At the same
it was
time.
Darth Vader theme.
It was a hybrid, like I said.
Well, they added some other stuff maybe, but the main tones were there before they started adding other shit. There were themes for the characters, or at least the rebels, I think.
Yeah.
Another thing that really bothered me was some kind of horrible, screechy, high-pitched noise whenever the X-Wings were in the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Every time, actually, I noticed it was the X-Wings. And it was actually hurting my ears a little bit. And I almost sat like this, because it had nothing to do with us sitting in the front row, because the sound would be the same for the back anyway.
The sound was massive though. At one point I actually felt like the room was shaking a little bit. It was like huge.
Well, it was Atmos. It was one of those.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it was very high pitched. If you've seen the movie, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, and you're watching this, what the fuck are you doing? But still, listen out for it, because it's maybe you don't even have to, because it's there. Another thing that I absolutely loved was the blind Chinese guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is by far my favorite. Like, I walked out of that movie loving him as much as I loved VIII walking out of Force Awakens.
Yeah.
He stole the show from me, and I'm gonna remember him. And since this is a spoiler review,
yeah.
I was the saddest when he died.
Yeah.
I was sad when K2.
Yeah, that was a really like.
He sacrificed himself, you know, and that was really that was a sadder scene.
Yes.
Than when he died, because when Blind Man died, it was okay.
Right. Yeah.
Because he said it was okay, you know?
Right.
Like, he was just smiling. It's like, it's all good. He did the last thing he was supposed to do. K2 did as well, but it was so sad.
Yeah, just
like a big,
riddled with blaster bolts. And
yes, he did not go down easy.
And
if he has physical feelings, then I'm sure he felt that. And he was so funny. I really, really liked him.
Really fun character. And as you say, Donnie Yen's character, Chirrut Imwe, I think,
yes.
was just great. A real highlight. I mean, when I saw him in the trailers, I was like, oh yeah, Donnie Yen, I've heard of him, you know, in the martial arts movies. I guess they got him to do some fun fighting sequences, and that'll be that. He'll just be the token martial artist of the film. But he actually had a great character. So awesome. And gave a really good performance as that character, as this blind man who had this belief in the Force. And that's something I liked, was that, you know, we don't have Jedi in the film, but we have the...
I felt like he was a Jedi. But
we had the underlying or overlying feeling of the Force, you know. In the prologue at the beginning of the film, you see Jyn Erso as a young girl, and her mother saying to her, like, I think, like, believe in the Force or something like that. So even people who don't, and I guess they would, you know, if the Force existed, just because you weren't a Jedi, and it would be seen as some kind of a religion, and there would be people who would, you know... mythicize it and stuff like that.
Some people wouldn't.
Yeah, that's very true.
When the girl Jyn, I'm so bad with names. I suck at names, seriously.
Yeah,
even Chirrut, I can't remember it, and I loved him.
Yeah.
Chirrut. When she says, the only time, I guess, may the Force be with us.
Yes.
And Chirrut's reaction was like,
oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Finally, someone said it wasn't me. And you see,
you're right.
Chinese Mickey Rourke in the background, more like,
Yeah, you're right.
Her too.
I didn't quite catch that moment. I mean, I saw it, I remember it, but I didn't see it in the context you saw it in. That's kind of funny. I'm looking forward to seeing that again now.
Yeah. He was holding his staff and he was like.
Yeah, he's like.
Yes. Almost like I was like.
Yeah.
Yes, you know.
And like again, like, there's so many different references in there. And when you first see those two characters, Cassian Andor says to Jyn, he says, "Oh, they're the keeper of the wills," or something like that. And I was like, "Holy shit, the wills!" Because the original Star Wars, before there was Star Wars, was called the Journal of the Wills, and so it's like this thing that has never really been in any of the Star Wars movies, but like super fans know of this thing called the Wills.
Yeah,
and I'm
like, what?
And I still don't even know what the Wills are, but just to hear them name drop. Then the Kyber Crystal, holy shit! Again, that's another thing that's never been a part.
She was carrying it around her neck.
What was that? I don't think that was a Kyber Crystal.
He wanted to trade her.
Ah. Really? I didn't.
Her necklace, and he said something about Kyber crystal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right.
He said it was the heart of the strongest star.
Yeah, well, they use it inside lightsabers, which people who read the books would know about, and that goes back to the beginning of the books.
I've sworn he said that was one of those crystals, the stone she had around.
Oh, I didn't catch that, and that's interesting.
But maybe I'm wrong, since you didn't catch it.
Well, it might be,
because to me that means nothing.
If it's true, that's cool. But I was like, holy shit, they're talking about fucking Kyber crystals, the wills, and all this stuff. And then you have
why else would he feel her necklace?
Yeah, and then you have these other little like random references. Like in the very beginning, you see the blue milk. In the I don't even know if you know about that, but in the original Star Wars, they got blue milk, and it's been a thing for Star Wars fans. And then the guy from Star Wars, he doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
He laughed then.
I couldn't believe it. Although
I thought he looked different.
Although Jeddah gets blown up, so like he must have made a quick getaway to survive to be in the cantina in A New Hope. But that was like such a random cameo that I thought was great. And while we're on these cameos, holy shit, Grand Moff Tarkin. Wow.
CGI dude, right?
Yes. Now
I didn't see that he was CGI. I didn't think about it, but the lighting was very dim.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it until he told me, and then every time I saw him, I could tell.
Yes.
But I didn't think about it, and I leaned in over to Steve, and I was like, can you tell he's not real? He's like, what? He's CGI.
That's her brother, who was
yeah.
But I mean, I'd heard the rumors. I think I talked about it like a year ago or something, about this big rumor that it was going to be the most extensive CGI rendering of a human face ever attempted, and it is. And I remember, and I just want to go into this, I remember when I was a fucking kid, when like PlayStation 1 had just come out and stuff, and they were talking about digital effects, and they were saying, in the future we'll get to see like Humphrey Bogart brought back to life, and we'll see all these classic movie stars digitally recreated and put into movies again. I thought that'd be amazing, and it's never really happened. And they've kind of tinkered around with it. They've done things. They did the young Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 5. They did.
It's only the beginning.
They did the de-aging of Michael Douglas in Ant-Man, and then Robert Downey Jr. in Captain America. And I was thinking, wow, are they actually going to do this with Peter Cushing and bring back his likeness? Of course, Peter Cushing died years ago.
Tron Legacy.
Yeah, they de-aged Jeff Bridges and that, but this is someone who has been dead for a very long time, and they got
full on everything character.
And and it was. I mean, obviously you can tell. You know, I mean, but
mostly around the eyes.
I don't even.
Did he have those twitches though? Because he reminds me of the octopus squid guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. What's his name?
Bill Nye.
Yeah, he reminds me of him. He's got like this weird like.
Yeah, well, you know who Peter Cushing is, right?
No.
We watched what was that film we watched with him? He played Van Helsing in the Christopher Lee Dracula. Remember, you really liked him in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's, I mean, yeah, just explaining to Connie who Peter Cushing is, and he was very old when he did Star Wars. Yeah.
But hang on, so wait, like, how do they do his voice?
Well, the rumor a few days ago was that the British actor Guy Henry, I still don't know if this is true, performed as Tarkin, and obviously they put the digital thing over him, so I'm assuming he did the voice too and did an impression of Peter Cushing's performance.
Okay, I am, just to be kind of on the same subject, but not, I'm changing to a different character here.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I don't know this for sure, but the voice of Darth Vader in the old ones?
Yeah.
The guy who did those voices?
Yeah.
Is he alive?
Yes.
So this was him?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's in his...
Because I was thinking like, wait, didn't he die?
He's in his 80s now, so, yeah.
And he did the voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah, let's just jump to that. The Darth Vader scene.
I want to see it! I want to say it! I want to say it!
Go on, what?
the best shot in history almost. Is
Well,
shot.
let's just leave it.
I want to say it though.
We'll talk about that scene at the end of the video because I really want to talk about it.
About that shot.
The Darth Vader scene. We see the new villain played by Ben Mendelsohn, who I thought was very good as Krennic. He did a good job being the new villain of this film.
The guy in white.
Yeah, although I will say, holy shit, like Tarkin, Peter Cushing, they made his character out to be such an evil bastard in this film with the things that he did.
It's so beautiful.
No, I'm talking about the guy who got digitally recreated.
Oh, I thought he was the one who said it was beautiful.
No, he didn't say it. That was
the
Krennic.
white guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. It really kind of puts Tarkin in this. I mean, obviously he had that ruthlessness in the first Star Wars when he destroys that planet, Leia's home planet, in front of her. But in this one again, it just added a layer to the character. I don't know how people are going to react to it because they went down that risky road of doing the CGI. I just think it's really cool. It's a cool way to explore filmmaking, and as a big fan of Peter Cushing, it just gave me such a thrill. You know, it's something.
He was sat like this.
I couldn't believe that they had actually done it and that the rumor was true and they pulled it off as well as they did. Again, you can tell, but it's the most impressive rendering of a human face ever done so far. I mean,
he turned to me and was like, "That guy's been dead for 30 years."
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I don't know how long it is. It could be 20 years, but I just wanted to express to her, like, you know,
yeah,
he isn't alive. Like,
that guy's dead.
And so.
But
yeah.
you had to say it was many years ago, because if he died, I would be like, oh, so he had time to do one more movie.
Yeah. But anyway, so the Darth Vader scene, Krennic, he flies over to this lava planet, or where is that? I don't know. But this castle, and I was thinking to myself, holy shit! And again, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. This to me was right out of the concept art they had for Empire Strikes Back, when they were thinking of having Darth Vader in his personal castle in like an icy.
Why does he stay where the lava is if that's what ruined him?
I don't know, but like in the concept stages of Empire Strikes Back, they were going to have Darth Vader in this kind of castle thing in like an icy planet, and I think there might have been something with a lava planet. But either way, to me, it felt like, okay, this is kind of a concept that they had like almost 40 years ago for the Empire Strikes Back. Is Vader in his personal kind of thing, and you see him in the Bacta tank, kind of with his fucking horrifying image. Yeah, he's
having a little bath.
And then we have the scene where he walks in and has the. I mean, he really only had 2 scenes in the film. And the first one, when he first started talking to Krennic, it was just like, it was overwhelming to me because I was hearing Darth Vader speak again. It's one thing to see the suit.
I was distracted by that though, because I didn't know if it was really him or not. And I kept thinking, if it's not him, then they're doing a really good job. But then again, you can do anything with digital stuff nowadays.
Right, yeah, but like, I mean, it's one thing to have someone in the suit, but to hear the voice as well. And to me, I mean, he came back and did episode 3. The last of the prequel films, but it wasn't quite him. It was, you know, is Padme okay? No! Like, it just didn't feel like Darth Vader, and now he's Darth Vader, and it felt like Darth Vader, and he was talking like Darth Vader. And even though he's 80 now, and you can kind of tell the age a little bit, it still, to me, just threw me right back to the original trilogy and Darth Vader, and I just... It was awesome.
Good to see him underneath his clothes a little bit, too.
And in fact, I would say that... that scene with Darth Vader and the first reveal of Tarkin, when we see the digital Tarkin, I don't think I really paid attention to anything that was being said because I was just so in awe of everything. So I'm looking forward to going back.
I like the Force sound when he choked him. Like there wouldn't be a Darth Vader scene without him choking someone with the Force.
Badass moment.
But like you heard the Force before he grabbed his neck, and the sound just. It was almost like in the Force Awakens when they have that little battle with their minds. That's so amazing, that sound effect.
Yeah.
Can I say the scene now?
We'll leave it till the end because there's
other
things
I
want to talk about. So I loved all the new characters. You know, a lot of even down to like the Imperial pilot who defected. I really liked his character. Just like they had their own little stories within the rebellion and everything. We got to see Bail Organa, who was played by Jimmy Smits in the prequels. He came back. That was really cool. You know, the guy who says, I know just the personal stuff. He says that I trust her with...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, him. He is Leia's father, basically.
When he said that, I trust her, blah, blah, blah. Before that, he said that he knew of a Jedi, or he knew of someone who went away.
Yeah,
like,
Obi-Wan, yeah.
Oh, right, I thought I was talking about Yoda.
No, Obi-Wan, yeah, because...
Because he's gone by then, but he's in the first...
Yeah,
during this
yeah.
part, right?
Yoda's in the forest at this point.
Yeah, so I was thinking, well, he's gone away.
Yoda went to chill in a swamp for 50 years.
He's a swamp monster.
Well, in fact, he stayed there, but yeah. So seeing Bail Organa was cool, and they had Mon Mothma there. Just even like during the big battle, space battle at the end of the film, which was incredible, by the way. Like
very nice.
Oh, very nice.
Well, it was
exciting,
some
action-packed, eye candy. You know,
following the X-wings on the wing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, because I felt like, oh, I'm going down, you know, and in between all of these column thingies.
Yeah, the shield gate in the sky and going through all the thing, like
cool.
the Star Destroyers, like the two that crash into each other, like amazing spectacle. And
I was looking for errors too.
and then down on the beaches, you know, the big battle at the end with the soldiers running through the jungle and stuff, just great war scenes, you know, and it's kind of
so weird, like all this like palm trees and the beach look. I was like, oh, that looks so weird.
It's a new location that they've never really used in a Star Wars film before, so it's always cool to see that and to have it feel different and stand out. We had
and it's gutsy because it's harder to make things look real in daylight like that.
Oh yeah. And another cameo that I will say, you know, I mean, again, this isn't a perfect film or anything. I like that C-3PO and R2-D2.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I like the fact that they're now still in every single Star Wars film, but I will say it felt a little bit too like hey, you know, because he's
1, 2, 3.
Huh?
Are they in 1, 2?
Yeah, they're in all of them. To me, it felt a little bit like just like him going, "Oh, they're going to Scarif. Why doesn't anybody tell me any of these things?" And it's just like, you know, it just shoehorned in a little bit, but. Again, it's kind of cool that they're in every film. It's kind of like tradition.
Humor is never great though.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but it's just
C-3PO is just like, oh, he's like bad humor, you know. It's like, oh, really, you know.
Yeah.
And I bet like they don't translate it, but R2-D2 is like, for fuck's sake. It's just beeping, but you know he's cursing his friend.
Yeah.
That was cool though. It was so short, but it was really cool.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it didn't outstay its welcome. And then probably the cameo that I don't think anyone would be expecting was I don't know if it's Gold Leader or Red Leader, the X-wing pilot from A New Hope, who goes to shoot down the hole of the Death Star at the end of the original Star Wars film, and he's like, I didn't go in. He's in the film. They used footage from A New Hope, and I don't know whether it was outtakes they didn't use or whether they just used a clip from A New Hope. I don't know, and it was very quick, very brief. You know, maybe only about 3 shots, and I was like, holy shit. Like the pilot from A New Hope was in this. It was a really cool little thing, and obviously, you're thinking, well, how did he escape? Because everyone dies at the end. How does he get? So I guess.
No, not everybody.
Well, true, but it does when
there are like 4 or 5 of them trying to go through the shield. When the shield opens, and like 2 of them crash, but you can tell that some of them actually get away, and they're up there and they're fighting them. And there are still some of them who actually managed to zoom away. What do you call it?
They flew away.
Light speed away.
Okay.
Some of them managed to fly away before the big ship comes in.
Oh, when Vader comes in at the end,
yes.
Right? Yeah, okay.
Some of them managed to go.
I loved Jyn Erso, the main character, played by Felicity Jones. She's a great actress, and probably my favourite moment from her was when she sees this message from her dad, played by Mads Mikkelsen. Great actor. Thought he was great in this as her dad.
Yeah, he's good. Go Scandinavia.
Yeah, he's brilliant, and I love the scene where she sees this hologram message from him, and it's the first time in 15 years since she was a little girl that she knows that he's even alive. And it's a very emotional moment for her, and I just think that so many actresses would play the single tear rolling down routine. And she doesn't cry, no tears come out, but her face is so like, you know, twisted in emotion and stuff. And I just liked it. It felt real. It didn't feel like, okay, let's get some tears going for the movie, you know.
It's funny how you mentioned that scene, because I thought it was good all up until she went down on her knees. Because she kept having her mouth closed, and I got distracted by that, and I was just thinking, I would open my mouth in that, or like I would just like exhale as I hit the floor, and so it felt unnatural for me that she was completely the whole time.
Okay.
Because I know when I want to try and hold back tears and stuff, you get kind of out of breath of the whole thing, and dropping to my knees would make me exhale.
Anyway.
I'd do it differently.
Anyway.
It's weird.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was good otherwise.
Forrest Whitaker as Saul Guerrera.
God, we're going through everyone.
Forrest Whitaker is a great actor. I didn't really love him in this. It's just
His voice.
He's just a bit of a weird performance. It was like just,
His first words kind of pierced my ears a little bit because that was so loud.
It just and there's a lot of stuff of him.
Felt forced.
There's a lot of stuff from him in the trailers that wasn't in the film, though that can be said for
Yeah.
There's loads of stuff in the trailers that wasn't in the film, but a lot of his stuff. So I wonder whether they were trying to figure out him and stuff. I don't know, but
I would have loved to see more of him, but not listen to him. Which is a shame.
Yeah. Right. Anything else we're really going?
I didn't buy him when he opened his mouth, but I buy his face.
Yeah.
Oh, and when he did this for the first time, it was all like looking at him, like, you know, breathing in, and then he dropped it down, and then he like tightened the thing on it, and I was like, was that necessary?
Yeah.
You treating it like it's like a deadly weapon. It's like, it's not scary. Why did you do that? You know?
Yeah, odd character, not bad, but it's just something a bit off about it, I think.
Yeah.
It was just cool seeing different locations and different feelings and different. I loved the grey areas because we have Cassian Andor, this character who is kind of like the second lead along with Jyn. They're kind of the two main rebels, I suppose, leading the team. And at the beginning of the film, we see him encountering this good guy, and he kills him because there's stormtroopers coming, and it's like, holy shit, that's a bit dark. And later on, he talks about how his whole life he's fought for the rebellion and he's done things that are horrible because he believes it's for this greater good and stuff. And so it questions, you know, even though they're the rebellion, they're the good guys, you know, they're not completely innocent, and it throws a shade of grey on it that I really like. That
They're still rebels.
Huh?
They're still rebels.
They are, but you know, because for me, with war in general, I think that I find it hard to kind of buy into a lot of the kind of, oh yeah, you know, war, you know, people fighting for the country and stuff. Yeah, it's very noble and everything, but like when you're killing people and all that kind of stuff, and that's just my beliefs on it. I like that they threw in that little bit where it's, you know, the characters are aware of the fact that none of this is really right, but it's just kind of what they've been thrown into and stuff. And it goes into the sacrifice, obviously, of war because everyone dies, which is the ultimate kind of message I think that they could put into it, because that's what happens in war. A lot of people die.
I like that everybody died.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
if
it's heartbreaking.
anyone...
It's really sad because you grow attached to these characters, and there is no real happy ending.
I didn't mind her dying, and the main guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Cassian.
Cassian. I didn't mind. I forgot her name too.
Jyn.
Jyn. I'm thinking Win or something. Jyn and Cassian, I didn't mind them dying. I was actually like, oh, don't you dare get away now.
One thing I'll say is like they have a very nice ending. I mean, it's kind of horrifying, really.
If they had kissed, I would have shut my own head off.
Exactly what I was going to say.
So glad they just hugged.
They just hugged, and it was perfect, and it was a beautiful moment because they embraced it. They embraced it. They did what they had to do.
Yeah, he said your dad would be proud of you. You know?
Yeah. And it's just it's devastating. It really is, and it just highlights the horrors of these situations. That
it's funny though. Every death of the main characters are kind of like okay, except for the pilot. That was kind of like he didn't look like he accepted it. It was more like, oh no, because he wasn't done doing what it was supposed to do. Well, he finished it. Yeah, he finished it. But the same with Chirrut. Chisholm. Chirrut, he did what he had to do, and he embraced it. Yeah. The same way they did, and then Chinese Mickey Rourke, he accepted the Force, which made it okay for him to go too. Yeah. And he looked back at his friend. Just before he died, I was just like, he accepts it too. Like it's like I'm gonna join you now, you know.
That was a fucking beautiful moment because he basically had fallen down, killed a stormtrooper, and the stormtrooper had an active grenade in his hand, so he knew he was going to die in a couple of seconds, and the last thing he did was look over at his friend, and that's the last thing he saw. Like, just really nice kind of friendship moment there.
The only distracting thing there, though, was, what was the stormtrooper thinking? It was so close to him that if he threw it, he would still get blown up. It was kind of like a suicide.
Well, he would have run off, wouldn't he? But anyway.
He would have been fat. He could run off too.
So
he got shot.
There's probably more to go into and stuff.
K2 too. Like that was it was the saddest death of all of it, because I didn't accept it in a way. But I was thinking, well, you know, they could just reprogram him. Yeah.
No, he's gone.
No, he's gone. Just patch him up. He's a robot.
So good humor, good action, good emotion. You know, just good story, good character. It hit every box really. It was a great film. I loved it. and then the ending. We'll talk about the ending, where they get the plans and they're kind of frantically trying to get it over to the ship. And I'm thinking in my head, you probably weren't thinking about this, but I was thinking, holy shit, they're taking it to the ship that's going to go off into the beginning of A New Hope, you know, which was really cool.
Oh, so that's what it was.
Yeah, like the ship that took off at the end, that's the ship that is flying across the screen at the beginning of A New Hope. So
cool.
So
this
really
is actually leading off exactly where
straight
the next
in.
movie.
You could probably just cut out the end of the credits and you just link it straight into A New Hope.
This is a proper prequel.
Yeah.
But like the lights, right? It's dark, and the rebels are trying to get that chip, and they go through this door, and they're like, "Help, help!" You know, and people are running, and then they hear behind them, and it's completely dark. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so he's gonna walk out of the darkness, gonna look cool.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
He just stands there and whips out his lightsaber, right? And it's the fucking coolest shot ever. And I'm like, oh, it's so fucking cool. And I was just like, it's funny how you end up loving the bad guys in movies, but that was fucking cool. The lightsaber, it was such a beautiful shot. And then that was like, you know what? I think I like that almost better than Chirrut's fight scene, because when he just started flicking it around, it was so fucking Star Wars, you know? And just using the Force as well, you know,
throwing people up into the ceiling.
Yeah, and doing everything. Yeah, the ceiling thing,
but
it was so cool. And, oh, it was great. And he just got away. It was just great.
That's really interesting to me, because I half agree with you, but half of me was just fucking, like, terrified. Like, you've never seen Darth Vader like this. You've never seen him like this. And again, it was rumored that they were going to have scenes of Vader on the battlefield, like throwing people around and stuff, and it sounded mental. And I'm glad they didn't go down that route. This was a more intimate kind of.
Oh yeah.
In the corridor, it was darker.
He knew what he was going for. He knew that chip was there, you know, and he knew that what they were going to do, and he needed to stop them. But then he didn't really try that hard, did he?
Oh, he did.
If he's strong with the Force, he could have gone straight for the chip and just fuck you, you know?
But then we wouldn't have...
Exactly!
You know,
but I mean, like, maybe because he still has, like, a light side way back in there.
No.
Maybe part of him wanted it to happen.
No.
But he saves Luke in the end.
Yeah, that's different. It was to me, it was a terrifying scene, because it's just Vader's full fucking power unleashed. Well, I guess...
I wasn't terrified. I was on the dark side completely.
No, honestly, it was took me aback a bit. Like, I was like, holy shit, you know. And don't get me wrong, I see the cool side of it, but it's still like fucking, like, that's dark. And it takes all these guys out, and then I
was on the Emperor's side at that moment. I was just loving it.
That's the only thing I was disappointed by. I was really hoping for an Emperor scene. You know, the guy who played Ian McDermott is still around. I thought
that was going to happen when I was tapping you.
They mentioned the Emperor a couple of times, and so I was expecting maybe at the end, like, you know, Vader saying, "Oh, they've got the plans," and the Emperor swiveling around in his chair. But I mean, you know, maybe that would have been too far, because they already had Tarkin and Vader himself.
When you saw the red guards. Trooper or whatever.
Yeah, the Emperor's guards. The Emperor's guards.
I thought he was going to be there, but then you hear Darth Vader breathing. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, they're not going to be in the
And I knew that the guy in the black robe wasn't going to be the Emperor, because the Emperor wouldn't kneel down for anyone. So that.
Yeah, but he didn't kneel at first, you know. But then again, he didn't walk like him either, did he?
In the trailer, you see him kneeling down. That shot's in the trailer. People discussed it for months, but. And then the final kind of treat for the fans was, of course, Leia, the door opening and seeing.
She looked great.
Again,
she looked exactly like her. CGI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that was great. That was a lot better than him. But then again, girls are easier to do.
I don't think so. I mean, you can poke holes in the Peter Cushing digital recreation, but I have to say there are some shots of that just, I mean, the detail in his face and the hair, and just the likeness of him, and the facial movements. Like, there'll be scenes where, like, or shots where Tarkin will turn around, just do this little kind of sly smirk. You know, and just even that, it evoked the acting of Peter Cushing, which I thought was unbelievable.
That was also that got me off it. Whenever he had those little twitches and smirks and perks and stuff, that's when I would see in his eyes that it wasn't a real person. But she didn't really have that much emotion. She didn't say that much, and she's very still in her eyes.
It's one line, you know.
Like, barely blinks, or does she even blink, you know?
It's one line, and it's a perfect ending.
It's easier to get away with it, but I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said the words, didn't she?
And so that was it. And again, she says hope, and it's like, oh wow, it's Leia. And you know, they kind of did a great likeness of the young Carrie Fisher. Very cool kind of moment. And then they go into hyperspace, and then the end, directed by Garrett. Like, it was just a bit, whoa, okay, go, 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 go. The end. I thought maybe like cut back to the Rebel base and kind of be like, oh, they've got the plans and stuff. But at the same time,
You know that they got the plans.
no, but I just mean to slow it down a bit before, because I feel that maybe they could have milked the ending a little bit more. And
Yeah, but you
and
just said that this goes straight into the first movie.
it does, yeah.
So there's no other way to do it than to just watch the next movie.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if the pace felt a bit off to me, but I like how at least it's different, because every movie does have the big climax, and then it slows it down, and you have the breather, and you know, people say goodbye or whatever. Though there's no one to say goodbye in this because they're all fucking dead. But you know, you always have the slow moment, and then you lead into the finale. But with this one, it's finale, the end.
I guess they could have, like, when Vader sees the starship fly away.
Yeah.
I guess they could have had something else, and then, like, the walk over to Leia or something, just to slow it down a little bit, and then you see her.
Well, they do have that, I guess. But
Yeah,
to
but
me,
it's not
I
on,
was just like, I was very surprised that we led into that.
Yeah.
You know, the thing like with all Star Wars endings. You know, the first Star Wars film.
There could be something in between, or a deleted scene, you know,
Yeah,
but they chose not to keep it.
I suppose, well, yeah, but most Star Wars films, they have the scene where you know that this is going to be the last shot of the film, and then this one was just a bit, you know, I'd be lying if I said it didn't cross my mind that it was a bit...
I felt it was okay.
Oh yeah, I felt it was okay, I'm just pointing out that it did feel a bit jarring to me, and I was a bit surprised. Anyway, I think we talked about it enough, just...
Yeah, it's a solid 40 minutes now.
Yes, so, I mean, I don't know, I'll probably talk about it again at some point. I'm probably going to go see it a few more times. Yeah. Well,
Can't afford to go see it again. It's 125 kroner.
Yeah, it's like £4 in the UK, so...
It's like 11 here. No, 12. No, wait.
It's a lot, yeah.
11 quid.
But, yeah, it's I guess full marks from me. I loved it. I loved everything about it. You know, just it really surprised me because I wasn't sure how a film that wasn't a Skywalker story was going to be.
Yeah.
And I guess this kind of proves that you can make a great Star Wars film that isn't so centered on this grand sweeping 18-part, you know, Skywalker saga. Though we don't know where episode 8 and 9 are going to go, but you know, it's interesting and gives me a little bit of hope for, you know, what they're probably going to do for the next 10, 20, 50 years, which is make all these new Star Wars films that are different kind of, what?
10, 20, 50 years. Oh, right, in the CGI world, you mean?
Huh?
What do you think they're going to do Star Wars movies for 50 more years?
Yeah.
Well, I better get working on my characters then.
Why wouldn't they? It's clear that they're going to milk this thing into the absolute ground, and unless the money starts drying up, I don't see them stopping anytime soon. They've got the license to print money now, so
they should stop Fast and the Furious before they stop Star Wars. I'm just saying.
the fate awakens.
Oh God.
Yeah. Anyway.
Don't get us started on that.
Yeah, I mean, it probably will happen. Let's be honest. I do dread the day where Star Wars starts to jump the shark a bit, but there's so much they can do, and you know they've shown that. But again,
if they keep having breaks in between, like they have now.
That's the thing.
Like a 15-year break or whatever.
That's the thing. Like
if they do that, then they will keep living on. But
for the last 15 years, they could be making money every Christmas, releasing a new Star Wars film.
If they do that, it's going to die out. People are going to get sick of it.
Marvel.
It's
Look at Marvel. Look at Marvel. Marvel is almost at 10 years now, releasing almost 2 films a year, and
it's not as great as it was.
Well, the money's still coming in
Not as much as it did.
You think?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They're spending more money. Percentage-wise,
anyway,
I'm sure
that's a whole other discussion. But I think, but I should say this actually. It'll be interesting to see when they do a true standalone Star Wars film, because I guess with this one you do have Darth Vader, you do have Grand Moff Tarkin, you do have the Death Star and all that kind of stuff, and then the next spin-off movie will be a young Han Solo movie, and you're gonna have Han, Chewie, Lando, but you know, it'll be interesting to see.
Oh, you get to see the relationship between Han Solo and Lando.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they do get to a point where we see a film like this with just all new characters that isn't linked to anything else and doesn't have these big plot points in it from other films. Because I don't know, I'd love to see a film with the two Chinese guys almost. You know, I don't know if it would work, but I love
Yeah,
that.
but then it would be from this Star Wars movie.
Yeah, true. But you know what I mean. I'm talking about the classic stuff like Death Star, Darth Vader, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but there will always be Darth Vader.
And I
there
always
will
liked,
always be Yoda.
And I always liked how
Yoda.
I always liked. I mean, I did like how when we first saw Grand Moff Tarkin, again Peter Cushing, I was so
Thanks for because I'm like what?
I was so overwhelmed by it, and I was like, wow, I can't believe they did it. And then I thought it was just a one scene. I thought that it must have been so expensive and difficult to pull off. I thought, well, that's it. We're not going to see him again. But he's in the whole film.
That's
in
not
very
the
small
thing,
points.
Though. It's like you model the face, and then you have someone putting on the suit to have all the motion capture done, and that's it. Everything else is rendering. Once you've made the model, you spend all the money. Then it's just time and rendering.
Well, I heard that they worked for 2 years on it, so.
Yeah, I'm sure one freaking shot of that probably takes like
anyway,
a week to render.
I'm just saying, like, I thought that was probably as much as they could manage, but he's in the whole film. I mean, I say he's in the whole film. We see little shots of him throughout the film, peppered throughout, maybe like 10 seconds here, 5 seconds here. So I love that he was a constant throughout, and he had this storyline of undermining Krennic and taking the Death Star away from him and stuff. So all sorts of interest. And also, I'm glad I didn't forget about this.
I want to see behind the scenes of this.
Galen Erso, Jyn Erso's father, who designed the Death Star against his will. I loved his story of how he kind of sacrificed his life to kind of, and also how he put a defect.
Because that makes it so much more accepting that there was a fault in the Death Star. It's everybody's been tearing that apart, haven't they?
It's been the biggest joke for years. You know, you don't want to just put a bit of wood over that hole there, that little kind of 2 foot kind of hole that leads to the belly of the Death Star, and it's like, well, hey,
it makes sense.
It was the guy who created it, and he wasn't a part of the Empire and was forced to do it, and so he installed this thing. And again, it's a sweet moment when he left those plans under the nickname of his daughter. You know,
Stardust.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a really nice, fitting story and sweet and everything. And
but they never said that in the original movies that someone made a trap or made a.
No, they just said we've got plans and there's a weakness. That's all they knew.
Yeah.
And so
she's dead, so nobody could tell them.
Yeah, and no one would know really because it was only her who saw them.
Really well done.
Yeah, it is.
I love that, and now people can just shut their mouths.
and it adds a nice layer to it. And some people might complain and say, "Oh, they're trying to retcon it and stuff." Nah, I don't care. I think it's cool. Yeah. I like it. And that's about it. I think. Anything else you want to add?
I'm sure there's loads I could say, but it's late, so.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it again, and really, really surprising. That's the thing. And it's cool to go into a film without having these sky-high expectations, because for me with The Force Awakens it was a dangerous level of excitement, because if The Force Awakens didn't live up to what it did for me, it would have been really like crushing and disappointing. Whereas this one, if this had just been an okay film, that would have been fine, you know. But it was more than that, it really was, and I got choked up a few times just by I think I said this in the spoiler-free review, but just the new characters, you know, like when Donnie Yen character, he walks out and is just holding his staff, and there's people firing all around him and stuff. It's a real movie moment, you know, and
one with the Force.
Yeah, and you feel the emotion behind it, and I was surprised that I got moved by the new characters and not by other things. Though I will say, when Darth Vader first started speaking, I was a little bit like, oh my god, this, because again I could hear that it was Darth Vader, and it was just all
I wish
really
you would have
exciting.
told me that in the beginning, because that would have made me more into it.
It probably would have, yeah.
I feel stupid for thinking that he was dead, but if it's that old, then what about the guy who actually was in the suit of Darth Vader? Is he alive?
He is alive, yeah, David Prowse, and he has an interesting related, like, he's a bit of a controversial, well, not really controversial, but he kind of he doesn't have a good relationship with Lucasfilm now, because I think he kind of was really upset that he wasn't in Episode 3, because he really wanted to do it again, you know, to step into the suit, but he was, I think, in his late 50s then maybe, and they decided to use Hayden Christensen. I don't know, there's some kind of thing there where he doesn't appear at official Star Wars events anymore, so I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, David.
Hang on, so the guy at the Comic-Con was actually the voice of Darth Vader, whose autograph you have?
No, the autograph is the guy who played Darth Vader in the suit. and he has a very thick English accent, so they didn't use a.
That's who I was talking about. What are you talking about?
The
The
guy
guy who was in the suit. He doesn't show up at things anymore.
Yes.
But he showed up at Comic-Con.
No, I mean, he doesn't show up at official Star Wars conventions.
Oh, right, but he showed up as Darth Vader in the thing, in the Comic-Con.
He didn't show up as Darth Vader.
No, but he signed stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he still does conventions. He just.
So he still embraces it in a way.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, totally, yeah. And I mean, he loves it.
You made it seem like he hated it now.
No. It's him and the company. I've read that there's stuff on where like they'll do Star Wars Celebration convention and he won't be invited or whatever, and he'll say, well, there's nothing I can do, but they won't, you know.
He's still true to the fans then.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. He's always like posting stuff on Facebook with autographs and things. So yeah, but
I just want to say one thing though.
Yep.
Like I did love the Darth Vader scene. I loved the Chirrut.
Yep.
Is that it? Yes, I got it. Chirrut, and I didn't feel anything for Jin.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't mind her dying at all. I felt more about the guy, the other guy,
Cassian.
Cassian, than her, and I don't know why.
Okay.
But I just, yeah, I mean, she did good. She helped. But I was like, okay. I like K2 way better than her. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. I couldn't feel anything for her for some reason.
I did, and obviously she's kind of like the crux of the film because her father designed it and he's the one who gets the message to her and all of that, and so it's very much her film. But I'm not sure. I'm getting confused which video I've talked about what. But I like how it's about the rebel crew and that it's about the other characters as well. And
I like the rebel crew.
While she is the main character, I didn't feel like it was the Jyn Erso show. You know, it wasn't. Like,
Definitely not. It's not like Rey at all.
Yeah. So,
I love Rey. And everything about her.
But I still was invested in her story, and I still found it very sad when she died, and when she saw that message from her dad and stuff. And so I did root for her and kind of felt for her in those moments. But
I did very much feel for her when her dad died, and she was over him. Why haven't we mentioned that, his death scene?
Yeah, I mean that
because it's so like freaking ironic. Like you finally get to see your dad after 15 years.
Yeah.
And you hold him in your arms as he dies, and that made me very emotional.
I mean, the whole film is a
papa as well.
The whole film is like a tragedy, really. It's like this kind of almost Shakespearean kind of thing.
That was the saddest death, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was the only death that was very in vain. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't okay when he died. Everything else was okay. They died fighting, but he, even though he'd done his job, but his last words was,
"I've got so much to tell you."
Yeah, and I'm like, okay then. Do it! No, and then he just dies, and it just... And I felt so bad for her.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, I can't... Because she said she can't leave him. That's when I was the most into her, when she was in that scene.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, well, have you checked his heartbeat, his pulse? Maybe he just fainted.
Well, we don't have time for that stuff in the film, I suppose. But as I was...
Oh, the other guy did say he's gone, but, you know.
As I said... I did, feel interested by her character and all that kind of stuff, and I was invested in her. But I didn't feel like, it's all about her. It was about all of them, all those lives, and all. Again, I just love how it really highlights that the sacrifice of war. And I know that a Star Wars film is not meant to make you think about these real life issues and stuff, but I do think that it kind of is to me, probably the best showing in a film of the sacrifice of war and the tragedy of war in a film that's like a sci-fi fantasy, Obviously, I'm not including realistic war films, but in a big sci-fi fantasy kind of fun adventure film, I think it really gives an interesting message that I enjoyed, but at the same time was kind of, it was a very bittersweet ending, and just the raw power of the Death Star, firing down and stuff, and knowing that that's the end for them as they kind of were on the beach, and then all the other characters. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's you don't see this. You don't see that Marvel movies. You don't see them all die at the end. All these big blockbuster films. It's always the happy ending. And while you do have
Game of Thrones shit going on,
and while you do have the happy ending or the hopeful ending, and literally with Leia saying hope, and you go into A New Hope and you know that their sacrifice is going to be worth it, you know, and that everything everything that they died for in this film services to save the galaxy, you know, in the ongoing installments. Though obviously The Force Awakens happens and the Empire comes back pretty much, and it's always going to keep coming back. But hey, at least for that moment, you know, yeah, the sacrifice of it. So really surprised with Rogue One. Loved it, and
I can't wait to see it again.
yeah, I can't wait to see it again, mainly for the Tarkin scene, so I can listen to what he's saying in the first scene, because I was so agape. I was like, Jesus Christ. Another thing, sitting back a bit, because again, we were sat in the front row and it was just a bit too much. Like, I could literally just
maybe the sound is a little bit, like, less piercing.
Yeah, I suppose.
But you didn't notice that much.
I didn't notice the piercing X-Wing sounds, no, I didn't.
Oh, horrible.
I have to say. So, there we go. Rogue One, the incredibly long, spoiler-filled discussion. And it was cool.
Another thing, like, how did they survive that crash anyways?
What crash?
At the rainy planet.
They just did. And if they
no
didn't...
one would survive that.
Wow, it's Star Wars, you know, and it's not a science lesson, as J.J. Abrams said.
True. There's sounds in space in this one.
Yeah. So...
And the fish ship. I don't know what those guys are called, but the fish face people.
Yeah.
Right? They push this big, what do you call those big ships?
The Star Destroyer,
The Star Destroyer. It just pushes it into another Star Destroyer.
It was a cool
and they both
moment.
just crashed down.
It was
it
a
looked
cool
awesome.
moment. Yeah, it looked awesome.
But it's like,
yeah.
How do you, like, obviously they notice that they're being pushed. Maybe they could push back a little bit. That tiny little thing is like a fly pushing Lily.
Well, they were panicking, you know. I mean, it was already tilting, if you notice, because the engines had gone down and stuff. So it was just nudging it to make sure it went through the shield gate.
Yeah. It had to happen somehow. Don't know why they just didn't do it, and why they had to be told to. You know. Yeah. Then again, they sacrificed their ship, I guess.
Anyway, it was cool to have Connie involved in this, because she hasn't taken part in any of these Road to Episode 8 or 7 videos. But
you never asked me.
I didn't ask you. No, well, I suppose.
And I haven't been there with you watching the movies for the first time. This is the first time we've seen a Star Wars movie for the first time together.
Yeah, because The Force Awakens, I was back home in the UK and stuff.
Watching it 6 times.
4 times. So yeah, there you go. Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
I feel like watching episode 4 now.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. We could put it on.
It'll be interesting to see it kind of, you know, because now really you would go 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, wouldn't you? If you wanted to, it wouldn't be 3 straight into 4. Because I've sat down and watched episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in one go over about 12 hours or something. And the 3 to 4 is such a jarring transition. It's like, it's hard to get into because you know the tone is so different. And I think it still is with Rogue One. I don't think it would be a completely smooth transition, but I think it would be a better one.
Yeah, but I don't want to watch 1, 2, 3. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I like 1, 2, 3.
Because when you go from 3 to 4, you're going from Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader to, you know, James Earl Jones. It doesn't quite gel. So to have this bumper movie with the real Darth Vader, you kind of get that. Again, that scene in the corridor was fucking just brutal.
I loved it.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the film for sure.
Yeah. Him and Chirrut is very like.
Yeah.
But seriously, I was on the dark side during that movie because I just wanted him to kill all of them. It's just so weird, isn't it? It's like when you, it was so powerful, you know, and you just felt like almost bowing down to Darth Vader during that moment, you know, like just it's so cool.
It's just
it's really cool.
Yeah, like
I love the Force. The Force is freaking awesome. I wish I had the Force.
The Force is with me.
I would throw people around all the time.
Yeah,
I did that in a dream once. It was awesome. I just threw people.
Donnie Yen, like it's really disappointing because I would love to see his character in more films,
Yeah,
and the other guy too. They were a great double act, I thought. And
well, if they're doing the Han Solo one after now, wouldn't that be set before this one?
It would, yeah. And you could.
So
you could
there could be a chance of us seeing him again.
That'd be great. That really would be great. But I don't know if it would feel. I don't know if it would feel shoehorned in though. I don't know, but
no, because everybody's going to request.
But regardless, I thought that he was one of the standouts. You know, so and that's something I was really not expecting. So this film did deliver these unexpected moments.
K2 kind of reminded me of the robots in Interstellar with the humor and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I really like K2.
Yeah, it was cool, and I like the idea that he was an Imperial droid who got reprogrammed, and how they could
Finn.
They could work that to his advantage, to their advantage.
I love how he tried to be like the bad guy whenever he was around the Empire and stuff. Like, oh, finally you're here. Oh, they went that way. It was like K2. I was like, oh, never mind. It was just great.
It's like, oh, you got these prisoners. Yes, I'm going to imprison them in the prison.
Yes. It was like, shut up. There's another one for you.
Yeah,
like, I'm so sorry about the slap. Yeah, I really liked K2.
Yeah, played by Alan Tudyk, who I'm a big fan of, and was.
How did they do him though?
CGI.
Motion capture.
Yeah, I think there was some motion, because I know there was pictures on the set of him on the set wearing a suit or something. So.
Yeah, when he was dropping down that bag that she threw at him,
yeah.
that couldn't have been animated. It had to be motion capture because it's like.
Right.
You know, it was too human. Which maybe isn't a good thing for a robot, but still, it made me like him more.
He did feel a bit silky smooth for a robot, but it was still cool.
I just gotta mention another scene. We're just gonna talk about this forever. When she shoots one of his lookalikes, and you're thinking, "Oh no, he's dead," you know, and then he's right behind, like, "Did you know that wasn't me?" She's like, "Yeah." I love that. It was just great.
I love it when he's like, just go back to the ship. He's like, okay, and he just runs off. Little jog away.
It was like, oh, it was boring, and I thought you needed my help. Like, why are you here? You know, it was just great. I loved him.
Yeah.
A good substitute for BB-8.
Yeah, you gotta have that fun character, but there's lots of fun characters.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the main. But my favorite is still Chirrut. And I want to see his other martial art movies now. He's great.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about the Ip Man movie. There's an Ip Man trilogy or something. Yeah.
That's him.
That's him, yeah. So.
Oh, that's on Netflix.
Cool. Well, we'll check that out some point.
At least
But I was honestly, I was expecting him to be this great martial artist who maybe wasn't great at acting. I don't know. I mean, that does happen. I had no idea what to expect, but he was great. He really was. So
he was like the wise man of the whole thing.
Yeah.
He was like a Chinese human Yoda.
Yeah, a Chinese human Yoda.
I felt like he was the Jedi of the whole movie in a way.
Yeah.
Because he was the only one who really believed.
And I like that he
used it.
I like that he wasn't a Jedi. I like that he was just kind of this disciple of the Force. He may have been Force sensitive, but
disciple of the Force.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the way it is, I suppose, or the way that it's presented.
It's like the Moses of Jesus or something. No, let's not get into that. But yeah, and what is she then?
Who?
Is she like any Force?
Who?
Jin?
Jin? No.
Nothing.
No.
Well, that's interesting.
No. I like that as well. Yeah.
No one can say that this is like any of the other Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking
that in the end. I was like, okay, so far everything has been different, so people should shut their mouths. Yeah. Oh no, it's exactly like Pocahontas. That's what they're gonna just find something to be like, it's exactly like that movie. You know?
Oh, it's just Saving Private Ryan.
People just like it because it's new.
People just like it because it's new. It's hip to like new things.
A Star Wars story? What is like a Christmas story only in Star Wars? I don't know. People are gonna find something that they don't like about this movie, and it's gonna piss us off, and then we're gonna watch it again. And then, if anyone says anything bad about that Darth Vader scene when he whips out his lightsaber, that sounds so bad though, but still.
I can't imagine anyone not liking at least that scene.
That was awesome! Seriously! Like, when I look away, all I see is Darth Vader with his lightsaber. It's so fucking cool. The shot. The lighting must have been so hard to shoot for that one. So great.
Yeah.
So cool. He's so badass. Jesus, do we still have that cardboard cut from him?
I do have a cardboard cut out of him.
I'm like his biggest fan right now because that was so freaking awesome.
Yeah. So we're almost at an hour, but
there's more to say.
59 minutes, but you know.
We can't leave it at 59. It has to be one.
There's probably some editing to do as well, anyway. But no, I think we've exhausted all possibilities and just full on talked about this as much as possible. Obviously there'll be reviewings and stuff like that, and maybe talking about it again down the line. But yeah, looking forward to the Blu-ray now and seeing the special features.
Oh, I hope they have loads of special features.
Yeah, yeah, me too. It'd be nice to see.
We should start sending them emails and just like put everything on there. If you need help, call Peter Jackson, because he knows how to make a good.
I mean, hell, they could probably make an hour-long documentary just on Tarkin and how they pulled that off. You know, there's so much to kind of mine.
To see, like,
yeah.
what people modelled him.
Mm.
I actually asked Luke, like, what did Weta work on this? You know.
No, it's ILM. But
ILM.
yes.
Wait, no, that's in the States. Yeah, okay, never mind.
Anyway,
They were in the UK.
we've gushed about the film enough. So thank you for watching. I guess leave your thoughts if you're still watching this video at this point. Well done. Although we've done longer videos, thinking of the marathons, but yeah.
Yeah, but this is Star Wars. Why wouldn't you want to watch it to the end?
That's true. Yeah. So. Yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below on Rogue One, even if you didn't like it. You know, we'd love to hear opinions and things like that. Again, you know, not a perfect film. I think that Forrest Whitaker was a bit of a disappointment, just a bit of an odd character that was hard to kind of buy into. You know.
I was looking forward to him.
Yeah. But I don't know.
It was just his voice to me.
Yeah.
Everything else was fine. It was just his voice.
The voice was just. I felt like he was trying too hard to be different with it or something. I don't know. Anyway.
I'm gonna talk like this. It's like really high pitched.
Yes, it was odd.
And a lot of hair.
Right, we've gone over an hour now. I'm recording, so that's probably.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave all this shit in.
Screw the editing.
Yeah, screw the editing. Right, Rogue One, Star Wars story. 2 thumbs up. Loved it.
Lies. Sorry. He does say lies though.
He
That's
does. Yes.
how high pitched it is. Lies.
Right, thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye. May the Force be with you.
Oh, you said it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Roll on episode 8. Right, we're gonna end the video now and get back to real life.
I'm a bigger Star Wars fan right now than ever. Maybe because we talked about this.
That's cool.
Maybe because I just really liked that this was before episode 4 and stuff.
And we got to share the experience a bit more.
Yeah, I've never done that with you before.
Yeah.
But also, I just like Darth Vader so much more now.
He was in the film for like 3 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Alright.
Beetlejuice was only in it for a few
That's
minutes.
true. Right, okay. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.